Welcome back to Decoding AI for You. Today, we're diving into how generative agent digital twins are shaking up business decision-making. Imagine being able to simulate your customers' journeys, test out bold new ideas, and predict what's coming next, all faster and more accurately than ever before. We'll break down exactly how these digital twins are built and fine-tuned, show you how real businesses are using them, and see how they stack up against old-school research methods. We'll also tackle the tough stuff, like making sure your data is solid, avoiding bias, protecting privacy, and following ethical guidelines every step of the way. By the end, you'll know how to use generative agent digital twins to get insights quickly, cut down on risk, and make smarter, more ethical choices in today's fast-moving world. So, what exactly is a digital twin? Let's take a closer look. Think of a digital twin this way. A traditional customer profile is like a snapshot, static and often outdated before you know it. A digital twin, on the other hand, is more like a living, breathing model. It constantly updates itself with real-world data, everything from demographics and behaviors to changes in a customer's environment. This means your understanding of each customer evolves in real time. That's the real power here. Digital twins let you simulate and predict how actual people might react to new offers, products, or changes, giving you a much sharper edge for business decisions. Now, let's see how this idea has grown from its roots in industry to revolutionize customer research. To really see how digital twins became so powerful for customer research, let's rewind a bit. They actually started out in manufacturing, where companies built virtual copies of machines to monitor performance and spot problems before they happened. But as technology advanced, digital twins broke out of the factory. Suddenly, they weren't just about machines. They could represent people, too. By pulling in real-world data like demographics and behaviors, digital twins evolved into living, breathing profiles of actual customers. Now, businesses can use these dynamic models to simulate customer journeys, test new ideas, and predict what might happen, all in a risk-free, virtual space. This shift has turned digital twins into a game-changer for understanding and innovating around your customers. So, how do we take this even further? That's where generative agents come in. To take digital twins to the next level, we need to talk about generative agents. Think of a generative agent as more than just a digital snapshot of your customer. It's an AI-powered model that actually learns, adapts, and makes decisions, almost like a real person. Unlike traditional digital twins that just replay old data or update every so often, generative agents use advanced language models to interpret new situations, remember past experiences, and plan their next move. This means they can reason, reflect, and evolve over time, making them incredibly realistic for simulating how customers might actually think and act. That's the real breakthrough. Generative agents don't just mimic behavior, they help you predict and influence real-world decisions with much more accuracy. So, how does all this impact the scale and precision of the data you can work with? Let's dive into that next. Now, when we talk about generative agent digital twins, the real magic comes from the sheer scale and accuracy of the data behind them. Take Simile, for example. They've collected nearly 3 million responses from over 400,000 real people, spanning 200 different behavioral scenarios. That's not just a mountain of data. It's a goldmine of real, consented human behavior. With this foundation, their digital twins can predict customer outcomes with up to 95% accuracy. That level of precision means these aren't just theoretical models. They actually reflect how people think and act in the real world. This credibility is exactly why businesses can trust digital twins to guide major decisions and drive real results. So, what exactly makes these digital twins so realistic and reliable? Let's break down the core components that bring them to life. So, what's the secret sauce behind these lifelike digital twins? It all comes down to 3 essential ingredients working in sync. First, large language models act as the brain, letting digital twins process information, reason, and make decisions just like a real person. Next, we have the heart, consented interview data. These are real conversations with customers that capture their true motivations and experiences, grounding the twin in reality. Finally, there's the pulse, ongoing behavioral signals like purchase history, browsing habits, and support chats. These keep the twin up to date and responsive to changes in customer behavior. When you put all three together, you get digital twins that aren't just smart, they're authentic and always evolving. But how do these twins keep learning and adapting over time? Let's take a closer look at how they continuously ingest real-world data. That's the real magic. Digital twins never stop learning. Unlike traditional customer profiles that just sit there, digital twins constantly pull in fresh data from the real world. Every new purchase, every shift in demographics, every change in behavior, they pick it up and update instantly. This means your digital twin always mirrors what your customers are actually doing and feeling right now, not what they did months ago. The result? You get insights that are accurate, relevant, and ready to help you predict how customers will react to a new product or campaign. So, how does this translate into real business value? Let's dive into some key ways companies are putting digital twins to work. Digital twins are changing the game for businesses. Instead of just looking at old data, companies can now simulate how real customers might act in different situations. Imagine being able to map out the entire customer journey, predicting how people move through your marketing funnel or how they'll react to a new product before it even launches. This means businesses can forecast with more accuracy and spot new opportunities to improve. Another big win: testing campaigns and experiences virtually. Before spending money on a new ad campaign or redesigning a store, companies can run experiments with digital twins to see what actually works. It's a smarter, safer way to innovate and optimize strategies without the risk or expense of real-world trial and error. These real-world uses show why digital twins are quickly becoming must-have tools for making faster, smarter business decisions. But how does this approach stack up against traditional research methods? Let's compare the two. So, how do digital twin simulations really compare to the old-school ways of gathering business insights, like surveys or focus groups? Let's break it down. Traditional research can take weeks or even months to deliver results, and it's not cheap. You're also limited in how many scenarios you can actually test, and there's always some risk involved. Plus, by the time you get your answers, the data might already be out of date. Digital twin simulations flip that on its head. You get insights in hours or days, not weeks, and at a fraction of the cost. You can run thousands of scenarios, all virtually and without any real-world risk. And because these digital twins are constantly updated with fresh data, the insights stay relevant and actionable. When you see these differences, side by side, it's easy to understand why more businesses are turning to digital twins for decision-making. But what really powers these next-generation simulations? Let's look at how generative agents make digital twins even smarter and more adaptive. Generative agents are the real breakthrough here. They transform digital twins from simple data archives into adaptive, decision-making models. Instead of just replaying what's happened before, these agents, powered by large language models, can take in new information, reason through complex situations, and adjust their actions as things change. So now, digital twins don't just show us what customers did in the past. They can actually predict how people might think, feel, and react in brand new scenarios. For businesses, this adaptability is huge. It means simulations are more realistic and nuanced, leading to smarter, more forward-thinking decisions. By mirroring real human behavior as it evolves, generative agent digital twins become essential tools for anticipating customer needs and staying ahead in a fast-moving market. So, how exactly do these generative agents add memory, planning, and realism to the mix? Let's dive in. Generative agents take things a step further by giving digital twins the power to think, plan, and adapt just like real people. Thanks to large language models, these agents don't just store information. They actively process hours of interview transcripts and behavioral data to build what's called a memory stream. This means they can remember relevant past experiences, use those memories to plan their next move, and even reflect on what worked or didn't, constantly getting better over time. The result? Digital twins that feel much more lifelike and dynamic, letting businesses simulate customer decisions and reactions with a whole new level of accuracy. So, what exactly is a memory stream and why does it matter? Let's break it down. To really get how these digital twins pull off such realistic, adaptive behavior, we need to talk about something called a memory stream. Picture it as the agent's digital memory bank, constantly recording every observation, experience, and interaction in plain language. Just like we rely on our memories to make choices, generative agents tap into their memory stream to recall what's relevant when new situations pop up. This lets them reason, adapt, and respond in ways that feel genuinely human. By pulling up the most important, recent, or relevant memories, these agents can deliver responses that are context-aware and believable. Understanding this memory stream is crucial. It's the secret sauce behind why these digital twins can mimic real customer behavior so well. Now, let's see how this actually plays out when a generative agent simulates a customer decision, step by step. So, how do these generative agent digital twins actually simulate real customer decisions? Let's break it down. First, the agent pulls in rich data, everything from in-depth interviews to ongoing behavioral signals, so it's grounded in real customer experiences. Every observation gets stored in a memory stream, just like how we remember key moments in our lives. When faced with a new situation, the agent searches its memories, prioritizing what's most recent, important, or relevant to the context. Then, using powerful language models, it reasons through possible actions, planning its next move just like a real customer would. After it acts, the agent reflects on what happened, updates its beliefs, and tweaks its strategies to get better over time. This constant cycle of learning and adapting is what makes digital twins so dynamic and lifelike, giving businesses a powerful way to predict how customers might actually behave. But just how accurate are these simulations? Let's look at the numbers. So, how close do these digital twins get to real-world results? When they're built and fine-tuned with detailed, consented data, generative agent digital twins can match actual customer behavior with up to 95% accuracy. That's not just theory. These models deliver insights you can trust and act on. With this level of predictive power, businesses can make smarter decisions, knowing their simulations truly reflect what's happening in the market. This is what turns digital twins from a futuristic idea into a practical tool for real business impact. Now, let's break down what it takes to build and calibrate these high-fidelity digital twins for your own organization. So, how do you actually build digital twins that are this accurate? It all starts by talking directly to your real customers. Through in-depth, consented interviews, you capture their true motivations and experiences. This becomes the core of each digital twin. But we don't stop there. We also pull in real-world behavioral data, like what people buy and how they browse, to keep these twins grounded in reality and up to date. By combining these rich interviews with ongoing behavioral signals, we calibrate the digital twin so its simulated responses closely match what your customers would actually do. Finally, we put these twins to the test, comparing their predictions with survey results or real outcomes to make sure they're reliable. This step-by-step approach ensures your digital twins aren't just realistic, but genuinely useful for decision-making. So, what can you actually do with these high-fidelity digital twins? Let's look at some key business applications. Now that we know how to build and validate these high-fidelity digital twins, let's see how businesses are actually using them. Generative agent digital twins are changing the game in several big ways. For starters, they let companies test out new marketing campaigns or product ideas virtually, getting instant feedback before spending real money. They also help map out the entire customer journey, so businesses can predict and improve how people interact with their brand at every step. Training is another huge win. Staff can practice tricky customer scenarios in a safe, realistic environment, making them better prepared for the real thing. And when it comes to planning, these digital twins can simulate market shifts and competitor moves, giving leaders the insights they need to make smarter, more confident decisions. Altogether, these applications are making digital twins a must-have for any business that wants to stay innovative and agile. Next, let's dive into how this technology powers strategic foresight. So, how exactly do generative agent digital twins give businesses that edge in strategic foresight? It comes down to three big wins: speed, cost efficiency, and smarter decision-making. With these digital twins, companies can quickly test out new marketing ideas, simulate customer experiences, and even train staff in lifelike scenarios, all without the usual time and expense. What used to take weeks now happens in just hours, letting teams react fast to market changes. Plus, by running detailed simulations instead of costly field studies, businesses save serious money. But the real game changer is risk-free experimentation. Leaders can safely explore what-if scenarios, predict not just the direct results, but also ripple effects like competitor moves or market shifts. This rapid, affordable, and predictive approach gives organizations a huge strategic advantage in today's fast-paced world. Up next, let's look closer at how risk-free experimentation and strategic foresight work hand in hand. Now, let's dive into how digital twins make this risk-free experimentation possible. Imagine being able to test out bold new strategies or tweak your business model, all in a virtual environment, before you ever commit real resources. With generative-agent digital twins, you can simulate detailed what-if scenarios, spot potential risks, and even predict how customers or competitors might react. This means you can innovate with confidence, fine-tune your approach, and make smarter decisions, faster and safer than ever before. In short, digital twins give you the strategic foresight to stay ahead of the curve. But as with any powerful tool, there are challenges and ethical questions to consider. Let's take a look at those next. As we dive into the real-world adoption of generative-agent digital twins, it's important to pause and look at the challenges and ethical responsibilities that come with this technology. There are 5 big areas every business needs to tackle. First, data quality. Your digital twin is only as good as the data you feed it, so accuracy and inclusivity are non-negotiable. Second, bias and fairness. If you're not careful, digital twins can accidentally reinforce existing biases, leading to unfair outcomes. Third, consent and privacy. Using personal data means you need clear, informed consent and strong privacy protections to keep trust intact. Fourth, regulatory compliance. Navigating laws like GDPR and HIPAA is a must to stay on the right side of the law. And finally, security and data governance. Robust safeguards are essential to protect sensitive information from breaches or misuse. By tackling these challenges head-on, businesses can unlock the benefits of digital twins while maintaining ethical standards and building trust. Now, let's talk about how to set clear boundaries for what's permissible when using this technology. To set those boundaries, we turn to something called the Minimally Viable Permissibility Principle, or MVPP. This principle lays out the ground rules for using digital twins responsibly. It says you should only create a digital twin if you have someone's clear, informed consent, and only if it brings real, positive value to them. MVPP also demands full transparency about how these digital twins are built and used, strong safeguards to prevent harm, and respect for the original context of the data. By following MVPP, businesses don't just stay compliant, they also protect individual rights, earn customer trust, and set a high ethical bar for innovation. Now, even with these principles in place, it's important to recognize that digital twin accuracy isn't the same for everyone. Let's take a closer look at how accuracy can vary across different demographics. Even with strong ethical principles guiding us, there's a big challenge we can't ignore. Digital twins aren't equally accurate for everyone. Their precision depends heavily on the data they're trained on. If certain demographic groups are underrepresented in that data, the digital twins can miss the mark for those customers. This creates a real risk of bias. Some groups might be misrepresented or even overlooked entirely. For businesses, that means decisions based on these models could unintentionally exclude or disadvantage parts of your customer base. The solution: actively collect diverse, high-quality data and keep a close eye on how your models perform across all demographics. By doing this, you can build digital twins that are fair, reliable, and truly serve everyone. Now, let's see how these risks stack up against those in traditional research methods. So, how do the risks of digital twin simulations compare to the old-school methods like surveys and focus groups? Traditional research has its own pitfalls. Think sampling bias, groupthink, and painfully slow feedback loops. But digital twins introduce a different set of challenges. You might face model bias, underrepresentation of certain groups, or even synthetic personas that don't quite match real people. Data privacy concerns also shift. Instead of just worrying about keeping survey responses confidential, you now have to manage ongoing consent, prevent re-identification, and control who really owns the data. Plus, with digital twins running at high speed and scale, there's a risk of your models drifting off course unless you're constantly recalibrating. And let's not forget, AI decisions can be a black box, making transparency and explainability much tougher. Security risks grow too, especially with cloud and EOT in the mix, and compliance means keeping detailed audit trails and managing consent dynamically. The bottom line: as the risks evolve, so must your approach. Strong ethics, solid governance, and continuous monitoring are non-negotiable. Now, let's look at how generative agent digital twins can move beyond these challenges to deliver realistic, actionable insights that truly transform your business. That's where generative agent digital twins come in. These aren't just digital copies. They're powered by advanced AI and built from real, consented customer data and live behavioral signals. The result? Lifelike models that let you simulate customer journeys, test new ideas, and predict outcomes with incredible speed and accuracy. Traditional research can't keep up. When used responsibly, this technology empowers you to make smarter decisions, optimize experiences, and stay ahead in a fast-moving market. It's not just a small step forward, it's a game changer for customer research and strategy. So, how do you actually get started with digital twins? Let's break down the adoption roadmap. Getting started with generative agent digital twins doesn't have to be overwhelming. The key is to break it down into clear, manageable steps. First, get specific about your business goals. What do you want to achieve? Maybe it's sharper campaign testing or better customer journey simulations. Next, check your data. You'll need rich, consented data to build accurate digital twins. Then, bring together a cross-functional team, think technical experts, business leaders, legal and ethics advisors, to cover all your bases. Start small with a pilot project. Pick a customer segment you know well and test your approach there. Measure how well your digital twins match real-world outcomes and fine-tune as needed. As your confidence grows, gradually expand to more segments or new use cases. Make sure your digital twin platform connects smoothly with your existing systems, like your CRM and analytics tools, so you get real, actionable insights. Finally, set up strong governance and ongoing monitoring to keep things ethical and compliant, and to keep improving over time. By following these steps, you'll minimize risk, build trust, and unlock the full potential of digital twins for your business. Now, you might be wondering, should you build your own digital twin platform or buy one off the shelf? Let's look at your options. That brings us to a big question. Should you build your own generative agent digital twin platform or partner with a vendor? This decision shapes everything, from your budget and timeline to how much control and customization you'll have. Building in-house gives you total flexibility and keeps your data close, but it's a major investment in both talent and technology. So it really only makes sense for larger organizations with unique needs and deep pockets. On the flip side, working with a vendor means you can get up and running faster, tap into proven expertise, and often get built-in compliance and integration support. The trade-off: you might have less room to customize and you could face vendor lock-in. Weighing factors like cost, speed, expertise, scalability, and risk will help you find the right fit for your business. Ultimately, understanding these options lets you strike the right balance between innovation, speed, and responsible management. Next, let's talk about why it's so important to adopt these technologies in stages, and why ethics matter more than ever. That's why choosing the right approach is just the first step. How you roll out generative agent digital twins matters just as much. With data privacy laws like GDPR and HIPAA getting stricter, and public trust shaken by major data breaches, businesses can't afford to cut corners. A staged, ethical rollout isn't just best practice, it's essential. Start small, validate your results, and scale up only when you're sure your systems are secure and transparent. This way, you protect customer data, stay compliant, and build real trust with your audience. Embedding strong governance and ethical standards from day one sets you apart and keeps you ahead in today's fast-changing landscape. Now, let's break down what AI really is and what it means for your business. So, as we bring it all together, let's zero in on what matters most for you and your business. Generative agent digital twins aren't just another tech buzzword, they're a game changer, offering quick, realistic insights that can reshape your decision-making. But with great potential comes real responsibility. Rolling out digital twins means taking it step by step, always putting ethics, consent, and transparency first. Start small with a pilot, make sure the results hold up, and only expand once you have solid governance in place. Trust and compliance aren't just boxes to check, they're the foundation for lasting success and credibility. Now's the time to see where digital twins could drive innovation, cut risks, and keep your business ahead of the curve. Take these ideas back to your team and think about where digital twins could make the biggest difference. Thanks for exploring the future of AI with us. If you found these ideas useful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with your network. Let's keep discovering new ways AI can transform business together. See you next time.